Dear spectators of the human tragedy, pain, a relentless shadow that clings to the soul, an echo of laughter that once filled the air like a cruel melody. They saw me suffer, and know how they laughed. Mockery is a weapon wielded by those who think themselves above the fray, those who sit upon thrones of arrogance, cloaked in the illusion of invincibility. But what is power without respect? What is strength without the heart to wield it justly? In the theater of life, I was the jester, my suffering a performance for their amusement. They reveled in my agony, believing themselves untouchable, as if the universe itself had bowed to their whims. Yet every chuckle, every sneer, only deepened the roots of my resolve. The pain they dished out became the soil from which I would rise, a twisted garden of strength and resilience, nurtured by their scorn. I stand now, not as the broken fool they once knew, but as the storm that brews in silence, waiting for the moment to unleash its fury. The laughter that haunted my nights has transformed into a symphony of justice, a haunting, eerie tune that resonates within me. They thought their mockery immune to consequence, a shield against the tides of fate. But like a predator lurking in the shadows, justice waits, ever patient, ever hungry. Mercy. A distant whisper in a world where cruelty reigns. I have learned that compassion is a luxury, a fleeting shadow that dances away when the light of power shines too bright. They mocked my pain, yet now they find themselves in the abyss of their own making, crying for a mercy that never comes. Their pleas are but echoes in a hollow chamber, reverberating against the walls of their own demise. I have seen the faces of those who laughed, etched into my mind like a dark tattoo, a gallery of betrayal that fuels my fire. Each face, a reminder of their arrogance, serves as a spark igniting the flames of retribution. They believe themselves untouchable, but the walls of their fortress are crumbling, brick by taunting brick. And as they stand atop their crumbling pedestal, I feast on the irony of their plight. Power, I have learned, breeds isolation, a cold, bitter solitude that gnaws at the marrow of the soul. Friends wither away, loyalty turns to ash, and trust becomes a relic of a forgotten past. Betrayal is the bitter fruit of arrogance, and I have tasted it deeply. The very allies they once relied upon now were the masks of enemies, their laughter replaced by the heavy silence of regret. And so, I embrace the darkness that has shaped me. It is not a curse, but a gift, a lens through which I see the world in stark clarity. Every moment of suffering carves the lines of my destiny, each drop of blood a testament to my evolution. In this void, I find strength, a power that rises from the ashes of despair. The silence of mercy is profound, a chilling void that echoes the cries of the fallen. They thought themselves safe, but the tapestry of fate weaves a different narrative. Their cries for mercy, now swallowed by the abyss, are met with the indifference of a universe that thrives on balance. Pain, once a source of their amusement, now serves as my justice, a relentless force that cannot be ignored. So let them cry, let them beg. For every chuckle that once rang in the air, I will harvest a stream. The relentless return of pain as justice will not be silenced. And in the end, as they fall into the silence they so richly deserve, I will stand, forged in the flames of their mockery, a monument to the truth that power, without respect, is but a fleeting illusion. In the theater of shadows, where laughter once echoed like the chilling sound of a broken clock, I find myself revisiting the faces of those who reveled in my torment. Each visage, a portrait of mockery, dances in my mind, a macabre gallery filled with the ghosts of my past. They thought their laughter was a shield, a cloak of invulnerability that would protect them from the consequences of their cruelty. But in reality, it was merely a mask, a fragile veneer that cracked under the weight of time. Oh, how their laughter lingers, an eerie melody that haunts the corners of my thoughts, a reminder that their joy was built on my suffering. Each chuckle and sneer was a brick in the fortress of their arrogance, a fortress now crumbling under the relentless assault of fate. They laughed as I bled, as if my pain were a puppet show, each string pulled for their amusement. But little did they know, I was not the puppet, I was the one who would orchestrate the downfall, the one who would rewrite the script. Their mockery became my fuel, a dark fire that ignited my transformation. I took their malice and twisted it into strength, each laugh a spark that lit the path to my vengeance. I transformed suffering into a weapon, honed by the very hands that once wielded it against me. They thought I was broken, but I was merely in the chrysalis, waiting for the moment to emerge, a phoenix rising from the ashes of scorn. And now, as I stand at the precipice of their demise, I see the illusion of their untouchability. How foolish they were to believe they could mock the storm without facing its wrath. Power, that intoxicating elixir, has a way of blinding the proud, leading them to believe they are invincible. But beneath the glittering facade lies a brittle core, waiting to be shattered by the very forces they dismissed. The laughter that once filled the air now echoes back as screams, screams of desperation, cries for mercy that fall on deaf ears. I relish this shift, this cruel twist of fate where the tables have turned. They are now the jesters, begging for salvation from the very entity they once tormented. The silence of my indifference is louder than their pleas, a testament to the justice that time has woven through the tapestry of life. This solitude, born from their arrogance, is a heavy cloak that weighs upon them. In their quest for power, they have isolated themselves, surrounded by shadows of betrayal. Friends have become phantoms, and loyalty, a fleeting memory. The laughter that once rang out in camaraderie has faded into the coldness of treachery, leading them to grapple with the consequences of their actions alone. I have witnessed the transformation of allies into ashes, the remnants of trust reduced to mere whispers. Each betrayal cuts deeper than the last, a reminder that power breeds isolation. And as they stand upon their crumbling thrones, I savor the irony of their plight. They believed they were the masters of their fate, yet here they are, stripped of power, begging for mercy in a world that has long since forgotten the meaning of compassion. The price of revenge, they will learn, is steep. It is paid not in gold, but in the solitude of realization, the heavy burden of knowing that their laughter was the precursor to their downfall. I will not be swayed by their cries. My resolve is forged in the flames of their mockery, a relentless force that cannot be extinguished. So let them weep, let them wail in their solitude. For every laugh that once mocked my pain, I will return a scream, a testament to the justice that has come knocking at their door. They thought they could escape the shadows, but those shadows have come alive, ready to engulf them in the silence they so richly deserve. The echo of their laughter, now silenced, is the prelude to their own demise, a haunting reminder that in this dance of power, mercy is a luxury that they will never know. In the realm of shadows, where the echoes of mockery collide with the weight of consequence, I stand as a solitary figure, a testament to the relentless truth that power can be as fragile as glass. The air is thick with the tension of unspoken words, a silence that screams louder than any laughter ever could. Here, among the ruins of arrogance, I find clarity in the chaos, a clarity that unveils the double-edged sword of pride. Arrogance, that intoxicating poison, has a way of blinding its bearers to the precipice upon which they teeter. They believe themselves untouchable, draped in the illusion of strength, yet underneath it all, their foundation crumbled like brittle stone. Every sneer, every mocking laugh was a thread woven into their downfall, a tapestry of their own making that now suffocates them. They wielded power as if it were an unbreakable chain, but chains, too, can rust and snap when least expected. Now, as I watch them, a sense of satisfaction courses through me. They are the architects of their misery, the puppeteers who have cut their own strings. The consequences of their cruelty loom like storm clouds on the horizon, dark and ominous, ready to unleash their fury. Justice, that relentless predator, stalks them in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce. They thought they were the hunters, but they have become the hunted, ensnared in the very traps they set for others. It is a beautiful irony, isn't it? The very essence of justice is not an act of violence but a natural law, a cosmic balance that demands retribution. Each act of cruelty they committed is a stone cast into the pond of fate, rippling outward until it returns to them in a wave of consequence. They reveled in their power, blind to the truth that every laugh they silenced would one day become a scream of their own. And as I embrace my new identity, forged in the fires of suffering, I feel the weight of their mockery transform into a cloak of resilience. I am no longer the victim of their laughter, I am the storm that gathers strength from their disdain. With every memory of their scorn, I sharpen my resolve, a blade honed by the very hands that once trembled in pain. I am the reckoning they never saw coming, the shadow that whispers their fate as they cling to the remnants of their fallen pride. I see them now, trapped in the loneliness of their power, surrounded by the ghosts of those they betrayed. Friends have vanished, leaving only echoes in their hollow thrones. The laughter that once filled their halls is now replaced by the chilling breeze of solitude, a reminder that in their ascent, they pushed away the very souls who could have stood beside them. They are draped in a shroud of isolation, for power has a way of suffocating companionship, leaving only the cold touch of betrayal. The irony is a cruel mistress, one that feeds on their despair. They beg for mercy, their cries a symphony of desperation that falls upon deaf ears. I am not their savior, I am the reckoning they feared. Each plea for compassion is drowned in the silence of my resolve, a silence that echoes across the void of their regret. They thought they could mock me forever, but the tables have turned, and the laughter has morphed into the haunting melody of impending doom. As they confront the consequences of their choices, I revel in the poetic justice that unfolds. Their arrogance has led them to this moment, a moment where the weight of their actions bears down upon them like an unyielding storm. They will learn that the price of cruelty is steep, paid not in gold but in the solitude that envelopes them. They stand on the brink of their own oblivion, their cries swallowed by the very shadows they once commanded. So let them tremble, let them face the chilling reality of their own making. For every laugh that once echoed in their halls, there will be a scream that pierces the silence, a reminder that justice, though patient, is relentless. In this dance of power, they have become the puppets, and I, the puppeteer, pulling the strings of fate. The shadows have come alive, and they will learn, far too late, that mercy is a luxury they will never know. In the kingdom of the Forsaken, where power reigns supreme yet crumbles beneath its own weight, solitude clings to the powerful like a shroud of despair. Here, in this desolate expanse, I find myself a specter amidst the ruins of their arrogance. The air is heavy with the scent of betrayal, each breath a reminder that the very thrones they built are now mere monuments to their isolation. They stand tall, but their hearts are hollow, echoing the laughter of those they once deemed beneath them. Power, that seductive serpent, whispers sweet nothings into their ears, lulling them into a false sense of invincibility. They stretch their hands toward the sky, grasping at clouds, believing they can soar above the fray. But the higher they rise, the farther they drift from the warmth of true companionship. The friends they once cherished, those who would have stood by their side, now lie scattered like leaves in the wind, swept away by the storm of their ambition. How poetic it is, the way allies fade into shadows, turning foes in the blink of an eye. Trust, once a fragile bridge, now lies in ruins, and with each betrayal, the weight of their power grows heavier, crushing them beneath its relentless tide. They thought themselves untouchable, but the truth is a mirror reflecting their deepest fears. Every friend cast aside becomes a stone in their path, each betrayal a chain that binds them to their solitude. They wander through this empty palace, echoes of laughter replaced by ghostly whispers that dance around them, mocking their plight. And what of those once loyal supporters? The ones who cheered their ascent. They have turned to ashes, remnants of loyalty consumed by the flames of ambition. The warmth of camaraderie has been extinguished, leaving only the cold chill of regret. They are left with nothing but the shadows of their former allies, a testament to the price of betraying the bonds that once elevated them. In their pursuit of power, they have carved their own tombs, and now they wander through the corridors of loneliness, haunted by the faces of those who once believed in them. As they stand at the precipice of their own making, contemplating the cost of revenge, they must confront a chilling reality. Each act of cruelty leaves an indelible mark, etched into the fabric of their existence. The price of their ambition is paid in solitude, a currency far more painful than any gold they could amass. They sought power, believing it would fill the void in their hearts, but instead, they have carved a chasm deeper than the darkest abyss. In this moment, I find solace in their despair. Their cries for mercy are but whispers in the wind, a fleeting melody that fades into the silence of my resolve. I am not the hero of their story, I am the reckoning they never expected. The irony of their situation is a bittersweet symphony, a reminder that in the grand game of power, the pieces shift, and those who once laughed at my pain now find themselves the subjects of their own tragic opera. Let them tremble in their solitude, for every empty throne is a testament to their choices. The laughter that once echoed through their halls has transformed into the haunting refrain of their own desperation. They may wear the crown, but it is a crown of thorns, piercing their flesh with every moment of isolation. I stand in the shadows, a silent observer, as they confront the chilling reality of their existence, a reality where mercy is but a distant memory, a luxury they can no longer afford. In this dance of darkness, I embrace the power that arises from their downfall. Their solitude fuels my resolve, a fire ignited by their betrayal. They have become the architects of their misery, and I revel in the poetic justice that unfolds before me. For in the end, it is not power that defines a ruler but the connections they forge along the way. And as they stand alone, stripped of all they once held dear, they will learn that the silence of their own making is the loudest cry of all. In this silent theater of retribution, where the curtains of fate draw ever tighter, the stage is set for a spectacle of irony. Once, they wore their arrogance like a regal cloak, believing it would shield them from the storm. Now, as the clouds gather, they stand exposed, their cries for mercy resonating in the void, echoing back like the laughter of ghosts long gone. How deliciously cruel it is, this turn of events, as the mighty, who once reveled in the suffering of others, find themselves kneeling in the dust they once commanded. The shift in power dynamics is a dance as old as time itself. The powerful, once draped in the tapestry of invincibility, now stripped bare, reveal the fragility beneath their facade. They now beg, hands outstretched, seeking a compassion that had been so freely mocked. Their pleas are but whispers against the backdrop of a world that has turned its back. I watch, a spectator to their downfall, as satisfaction curls around my heart like smoke from a dying fire. In their desperation, I find the sweet nectar of justice. Their cries, once a cacophony of derision, now fall silent, swallowed by the very shadows they once cast upon me. The irony of it all paints a vivid picture. The architects of cruelty now stand before the altar of their own destruction. How many times did they laugh at my pain? How many times did their voices ring out in joyous mockery, a symphony of scorn that reverberated in my soul? And now, as I stand amidst their ruins, their pleas for mercy become nothing more than a haunting melody, a testament to their own hubris. Each cry for help, each desperate gasp for forgiveness, is a reminder of the countless times they turned away from the suffering of others. They thought they were untouchable, that their power was a fortress against the tides of fate. Yet here they are, mere shadows of their former selves, reduced to trembling figures in the dust. It is a grotesque ballet, and I am both the conductor and the audience, relishing in the performance of their downfall. But the silence that follows their cries is the truest form of justice. It wraps around them like a cold shroud, suffocating in its intensity. They search for the echoes of their former authority, but all they find is the haunting absence of respect, an empty chamber where their laughter once rang. The tables have turned, and the cruel twist of fate is a reminder that the wheel of justice spins without mercy for the guilty. Yet, I do not revel in their pain out of mere malice. No, rather, it is the understanding of the cycle we are all bound to that fuels my resolve. Their downfall serves as a stark reminder that for every act of cruelty committed in the name of power, there exists an equal and opposite reaction. They sowed the seeds of their destruction, and now they wander through the barren fields of their choices, clutching at the remnants of a life they took for granted. The irony of their situation is a bittersweet serenade, a melody played on the strings of fate. I watch as they grasp for the threads of mercy, only to find them frayed and out of reach. The silence that envelopes them is not a void, but a testament to the inevitability of consequence. They will learn, as I have learned, that the absence of compassion is a reality they must confront alone. So let them plead, let them cry out into the darkness. Their voices will fade, swallowed by the very silence they once dismissed. And as they stand on the precipice of their own making, I find solace in knowing that the power they once wielded has turned to ashes in their hands. The irony is exquisite, a dark symphony played in a key of vengeance, reminding us all that in the end, the laughter of the past transforms into the screams of the present, and justice, relentless and unforgiving, always finds a way to reclaim its due. In the aftermath of mockery, we find ourselves standing amidst the ruins of shattered pride, where echoes of laughter have transformed into a haunting symphony of desperation. The air is thick with the scent of decay, a reminder that for every cruel jest cast upon the innocent, there lies a reckoning lurking in the shadows. The weight of choices made and unmade hangs heavily, like the oppressive fog that clings to the bones of a forgotten battlefield. Here, in this desolate landscape of consequence, the laughter that once reverberated now morphs into screams, a chilling transition from the light-hearted to the lamentable. Arrogance, that double-edged sword, has cut deep into the flesh of the powerful, revealing vulnerabilities they were too blind to see. They strutted through life, cloaked in the rags of superiority, believing themselves invincible. Yet, the very pride that elevated them has become their downfall, a cruel twist of fate that leaves them exposed. How sweet it is to witness their unraveling, the threads of their confidence fraying as they confront the consequences of their actions. Each choice, a step taken on a path of destruction, now haunts them like a specter, whispering the bitter truth of their existence. The consequences of cruelty are not mere whispers in the wind, they are the relentless pounding of a drum, signaling the arrival of justice. It is a predator waiting patiently in the shadows, its breath a ghostly chill that sends shivers down the spines of the guilty. They thought they could escape its gaze, that their power would shield them from the inevitable. But justice is a cunning beast, and its hunger knows no bounds. It stalks them, relentless, until they are cornered in the labyrinth of their own making, no escape, no refuge. The anti-hero's resolve hardens like steel forged in the fires of suffering. Each scar etched upon my soul tells a story, a tale of resilience born from anguish. I embrace this identity woven from the threads of pain, for it is here that I find my strength. The transformation is not merely a shift in perspective, it is the birth of a force that cannot be ignored. I have learned that suffering is not a weakness, but a crucible, refining the spirit and sharpening the edges of resolve. As I stand amidst the crumbling facades of those who once stood above me, I realize that their laughter has become my armor, their mockery my weapon. Yet, within this relentless pursuit of justice, there lies a price, a toll that weighs heavily on the heart. Revenge is a double-edged sword, and as I wield it, I must confront the solitude that accompanies such power. The very act of seeking justice can isolate, turning allies into ashes, friends into foes. In this chilling reality, the anti-hero walks alone, a solitary figure against the backdrop of a world that thrives on betrayal. The echoes of laughter may have faded, but the silence that remains is deafening, punctuated only by the whispers of regret that linger in the air. As I navigate this dark path, I am reminded that every scream that escapes their lips is a reflection of the mockery they once delivered. The cycle of cruelty and consequence spins on, a relentless dance that leaves no room for mercy. And so, I confront the chilling reality of solitude, understanding that the quest for justice is often a lonely road. But in this isolation, I find clarity, a fierce determination to push forward, to reclaim the narrative that was once stolen from me. They will learn, as I have learned, that the laughter of the past transforms into the cries of the present. And as the relentless predator of justice closes in, I stand ready to embrace the darkness, for it is here, in the depths of despair, that true strength is born. Let them scream, let them beg for mercy. The silence that follows will be the ultimate testament to their choices, their downfall echoing through the corridors of time, a chilling reminder that no one escapes the consequences of their actions. In the aftermath of chaos, as the dust settles over the remnants of shattered dreams and broken egos, we stand at the precipice of reality, a stark reminder that the echoes of our past choices reverberate through the corridors of time. The laughter that once rang out like a symphony of mockery now lies silent, replaced by the haunting emptiness of those who thought themselves untouchable. For in this desolate expanse, mercy is but a fading shadow, a luxury reserved for the innocent, not the guilty. Justice, that relentless specter cloaked in inevitability, looms large in the distance. It is the finality that brings an end to the charade, the closing act of a cruel play where the guilty are left to confront their own reflections. The weight of their arrogance presses down like a shroud, suffocating and inescapable. The cries for mercy, once a cacophony of bravado, now fall silent as the realization dawns upon them. Mercy is a fleeting dream, a wisp of smoke dissipating into the air. As I survey this landscape of fallen pride, I cannot help but reflect on the nature of power and pain. In the throes of suffering, I found strength. In the depths of despair, I discovered resilience. Those who once laughed at my pain are now mere shadows of their former selves, stripped of their masks and left bare before the world. The irony of their pleas hangs thick in the air, a bitter reminder of the cycle they initiated. They wielded power like a weapon, swinging it at the weak, never foreseeing the day when that very weapon would be turned against them. And what remains in the aftermath of vengeance? A legacy, yes. But what kind of legacy is forged in the fires of retribution? It is a legacy of silence, where the echoes of their mockery are replaced by the weight of their regrets. In this silence, I find clarity, a stark understanding that the price of power is often solitude. The allies I once had are now ashes scattered in the wind, remnants of a time when trust was a currency I believed could be spent. Each betrayal, a dagger driven deep, serves as a reminder that in the pursuit of justice, isolation is the price I pay. Yet, this solitude is not a weakness, it is a crucible, refining me further. The darkness that envelopes me is not a prison but a sanctuary, where I can reflect on the nature of my existence. In this quiet, I hear the whispers of those who fell before me, those who thought themselves invincible, only to be consumed by the very power they sought to wield. Their stories are etched into the fabric of my soul, a tapestry woven with threads of suffering and strength. I embrace this legacy, for it is a testament to the truth that power, when abused, becomes its own executioner. As I stand on this precipice, I know that the silence that follows the cries of the fallen is not an end, but a beginning. It is a new chapter in a story written in blood and tears, where justice reigns supreme. The haunting echoes of their pleas will fade, but the lessons learned will linger like a ghost, a reminder that cruelty begets cruelty, and every action has its consequence. In this dark dance of fate, I find my purpose, not merely to seek revenge, but to ensure that the cycle of mockery and pain comes to a close. So let them scream, let them beg for mercy. Their cries are but the final notes of a dirge sung for their own demise. In the end, the silence that envelopes them will be the ultimate testament to their choices, a chilling reminder that no one escapes the relentless grip of justice. And as I walk away from the ruins of their arrogance, I carry with me the knowledge that from the depths of suffering, true strength is born, a strength that will echo through time, long after their voices have fallen silent. Share this message if you believe that true strength is forged in the fires of adversity. Leave a comment about a moment when you turned pain into power, and subscribe for more darkly motivational reflections like this. Embrace the chaos and let it shape you into something greater, because in the shadows, we find our true selves, and in the relentless march of time, justice always prevails.